Mel's not made for jail.
All right, so welcome back to Home on the Edge, guys. Welcome to prison. Mel's going to jail. That's it. I've had enough. I'm committing her to Brushy Mountain State Penitentiary.
Some of the worst of the worst have crossed through these doors.
No, so we're in Petros, Tennessee. Working a contract. If you follow our channel, you know, travel nurse, we go from place to place, working contracts. We're in Eastern Tennessee, have been for almost a year now. But today we are going to tour one of the most notorious maximum security prisons in the Eastern United States. It's shut down now, but you can tour it. And we're going to tell you all about it today on Home on the Edge.
And who was its most famous prisoner?
Do you know? Well, if you watch, you'll find out. Bee! It's a bee!
Sorry. No.
As you drive down the winding roads of this small Eastern Tennessee town, Petros, Tennessee, you wouldn't know that just down the street lies one of the most notorious maximum security prisons in history. It is open now only for tours, but in its day, Brushy Mountain Penitentiary was known as the end of the line for many convicted felons. Driving past the old guardhouse, you realize just how secluded this place really is. The first stop once you arrive is the gift shop, the tasting station for the on-site Brushy Mountain Distillery, and the Warden's Table, an on-site restaurant that offers great sandwiches as well as barbecue and other bar food type entrees. In the gift shop you can buy t-shirts, hats, and any of the alcohol produced at the distillery. You can also buy your tickets for the prison tour here, either guided or self-guided, and they have a discount for seniors as well as first responders. So over there you can see what is that, the non-maximum security? This is the
minimum security.
Minimum security housing. So these guys out here actually had jobs and were part of the community at some points, I think.
And did we also mention that this is a highly paranormal site?
Yeah, so they do a whole bunch of paranormal studies here at nighttime and things like that.
You can do special paranormal tours.
Yeah. Brushy Mountain, dangerous since 1896. Enter at your own risk. Snakes, ghosts, and tripping hazards. So, watch out for snakes.
I'm glad you knew what that last one meant.
Yep. Watch out for falling down people.
This sign says absolutely no alcohol but beyond this point, so start chugging.
Start chugging. So I think this hall was mainly, general administration. So the prison was closed down for several years before it opened up, so there was a lot of vandalism and stuff like that. But this hall was the general administration. The warden's office was probably one of these offices down through here. But
hey, let us know if any of these people look familiar to you.
Yeah.
Look, a small holding cell was installed to temporarily contain female prisoners who were either en route to a courthouse appearance elsewhere in Tennessee. So
there.
They had to.
Typically arriving from county jail in the early morning, women were only held at Brushy until they boarded the daily chain bus and never permitted to stay at Brushy Mountain overnight.
It's probably a good thing.
Yeah. There's bars everywhere.
It's Barb's Bars.
It's Barb's Bars. Look at the old crank handle. I guess that's the old crank handle right there for the
door.
For the door. One last little step in here. They closed this door, and this is literally 4 feet wide. Then I guess you're in jail.
And just like that,
you're in jail.
In
But
jail.
you know what is really awesome for the inmates is that they had Dasani machines. Dr. Pepper, Diet Coke, and Dasani water. So really, I don't know what all the stories are about. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, right. Right here by the front door. Yeah. Just don't forget.
You can either do a self-guided tour here, which is what we're doing, or you can get a guided tour. What's really cool is they have some of the guided tours are given by previous inmates, so they tell all kinds of stories. Tour continues this way.
It's a really nice day. It's overcast, so it's not too hot because there is no AC in prison.
All right, so they call this the walk. It's the first floor walk. You gotta walk 1, 2, 3, and 4 because it's 4 stories high. Wow. Oh, there's the shower.
Well, I will have to say one nice thing to this place is that each floor has a small shower, and you can't have too many people in there at one time. So
I bet there was, there's 3 showers in there, and I don't think I would want to be showering in there.
No, but so the beds were suspended. They had suspended inmate beds.
Yeah.
In the gin pop.
And I read something or watched a video that a lot of guys tried to tie up and sleep in hammocks, actually, because the rats were so bad that they would bite them at night if they were sleeping on their mattresses.
Yeah, no thanks. But look, I mean, they have a little desk and a stool and 2 bookshelves.
They've got a desk.
Right.
Yeah.
And the toilet still looks pretty tidy.
Yeah, that works great. Stainless steel toilet seat. I'm sure that's very comfortable.
Mm-hmm. So 2/3 of the population of this penitentiary worked in the coal mines, which are just above the mountains behind
For free. So that's a lot of free labor.
And these conditions were very poor. I mean, they lived in squalor pretty much, and they were brutally whipped and beat for not performing their duties.
Later on in years, they transitioned to more or less offensive inmates as times changed and human rights things came along, and prisoners weren't treated as they used to be in the old movies or as they were here in the early days of Brushy Mountain. But Brushy Mountain is known as the end of the line for a lot of people. A lot of people came here and never, ever, ever left. It's the FBI's most wanted.
Okay, so if you haven't guessed yet, you ready?
Yep, go for it. Yep, James Earl Ray. This is where Martin Luther King's assassin was brought, and he stayed in cell number 28. There weren't a whole lot of escape attempts here at Brushy Mountain, and there were very few successful attempts, but James Earl Ray did escape here with, I think, 6 other people. And I think later we're going to get to look at the ladder that they actually constructed to get over the wall. But I think that escape attempt, or he was outside the walls for about 50 some odd hours. They found him up on the hill.
Under a bunch of brush.
Under a bunch of brush, because you have to think back in that time, it was just railroad tracks. There were no roads, there were no houses. You were in the middle of this valley with nowhere to go.
We're 20 miles from the secret city.
Yeah, so you were in the middle of nowhere. That's why this prison was built here, and you had a lot of work to do if you were going to escape and get out of here. But yes, James Earl Ray.
So in 1977, during his escape, it had earned him a stay in the dreaded D block isolation, which is very creepy, and you'll see that. Yeah. He was a model prisoner, but other than that, he was once stabbed 22 times by 4 black inmates, and he managed to survive.
Too bad.
But did you know that inmates made pets out of birds, rats, and even a 6-foot chicken snake they kept in a box?
It was absolute code among convicts that animal cruelty was off limits, and transgressors were to be taken out.
Prisoners tossed heads of cabbage out the back door of the kitchen to feed the groundhogs.
Now the most famous pet story you're going to hear about Brushy Mountain is the story of an unfortunate little deer who fell off the rock cliff in the yard, and his name was Geronimo. So the prisoners kept Geronimo. He lived in the yard for years, sometimes dined in the cafeteria.
He had an affinity for cigarette butts and orange slices and lifesavers. They would often feed him from the kitchen, and he would also alert the officials to illicit activities going on by the prisoners.
Ooh, he was snitches. Snitches get stitches. So definitely not where you want to
spend your day. I don't think this is.
So you also have to consider this is a very remote area. How did they sustain themselves? Well, they had a farm here where they grew all of their fruits and vegetables. They also sustained livestock, and that is how they fed all of the inmates.
And all those guys that were mining coal, that fueled the steam power plant that produced electricity and the little bit of heat, I guess, that they had back in that time of the day. But each another shower on that end. Ooh. So through this door is one of the most dangerous areas of the prison. That's going to be the cafeteria.
So also take note of these murals that are on the side, on the walls.
Yeah, they're all painted.
They're all painted by inmates. There's one inmate in particular that did these.
You just wonder what it actually looked like with the tables and everything. But yeah, this is where most of the violence occurred, actually.
They painted flower frescoes and stone, so it was just like you're, in Europe.
Yeah. Right here, so we'll go into the other side of that. That's the guard overlook. And this is about 4 to 5 inches of bulletproof glass, and they stood in there with, I think it said 30-06 rifles pointed through, so they could respond to any threats during dining hours. That would be an unsettling dining experience.
Yes.
I guess this is the Chow Line.
Okay, so you got to watch out in the Chow Line because you don't want to get shanked.
That's right. Yeah, they made them actually make a pegboard in the kitchen, and all the utensils were outlined by like a painted outline, so they would know if anything was taken or missing, because people would take forks and spatulas or whatever they could get and like shank somebody in line. So this is the serving area. It's crazy. Still got the trays in there.
You could smash somebody's head up
Man,
against
I'm
those
right.
bricks
You just
right
like
there.
grab somebody's head and smash it on the. Now there was a point in time where, like in the 70s, I believe, that the guards and the guard union or whatever went on strike. The prison was closed for a few years because of dangerous working conditions. Reopened like 5 or 6 years later with more guards, and I think they put in extra air conditioning and all kinds of stuff.
It's bad. This trout here, 1998.
Tim Cross, 1998. Non-contact visitation. So I guess you sat on the other side there.
Yeah. I would get to sit here and you would get to sit on the other side.
What do you mean? Why are you thinking it's automatically going to be me in jail?
Because we already read the thing downstairs that said no women spent the night.
That's right. She already like hooking me up in the clink. Yep, that's where you would, I guess, stand or sit and look through the little window at your person. It's like a maze.
Well, they don't want to make it too easy for you to get out.
Right. What was that?
It's an actual person. Maybe.
Tour continues this way.
This is D block. This is where the bad people went.
Oh, the more maximum security.
This is where the really nasty people were stayed.
And I think this is their outside like exercise pens as well. When if they get their daily 30 minutes.
For the people in the D block?
Yeah, for the people like the maximum security people.
Right.
Would get to go in here for their 30 minutes of fresh air or whatever. Imagine this was like the best part of your day. Coming in this little.
Oh, and I bet it was hot.
Well, you know it was hot, especially
Or cold.
or freezing cold. But I guess you still wanted to come out because.
Well, you want to see the sun.
Yeah, that's crazy. Make you reflect on some life choices, but nature's kind of taking it back, isn't she?
An electric chair dubbed Sparky was housed at Brushy during renovations of the state prison in Nashville, but it was never used for executions on
So,
site.
yeah, they never did any executions.
That's
here.
good.
So you got 1, 2, 3, like 6 of these.
They said that both prisoners' hands and feet were shackled when being transferred from a cell to the exercise
Wow.
cage.
For the
So you can see
for
they
the
have
10-foot walk.
the two panels here where they can you can undo your hands and your feet.
And your feet, yeah.
Without contact.
Wow.
I have to say, when the kids were little, I kind of wish I had a porch like this.
Put them on and lock them in.
Yeah, well, you know, I didn't have to worry about them wandering off into the yard or trying to go somewhere.
So these mechanisms right here operate the long bar that releases all the cell
All the
doors.
gates.
So this, I think, well, this was the shower. Definitely not as open an area as the one over on the other. And these cells over here are, turn the light on here. These cells over here are single occupancy only. And that is a little platform. They got cages and grates. Little. Sounds like a movie.
And so they can't reach through
Or
and grab you
you,
as you're
yeah.
walking by.
It's crazy. Ooh, this is a scary little corridor. Look at the thickness of this door. Good grief. To walk, cells 9 through 16.
So you ask yourself, what do you do when D block is not enough?
What do you do when D don't?
You get sent to the hole.
I don't want to go to the hole. There's a lot of artifacts in here.
Oh, there's
You could
just
spend hours just looking at this stuff.
much history. I mean, this place was open for over 100 years.
That's crazy. Tattoo guns.
Hey, Tab.
Tab.
Check
yeah.
this out.
Here's all your tattoo supplies. Yeah, look. You can make those. You could use those.
Yeah.
That one. That's a ballpoint pen
Like-
with a vibrating motor on it.
Yeah. I wonder what they made their ink out of. They would grind up, you know, whatever kind of stones
Yeah.
and things they would find for
That's
pigment.
crazy. Look at all the shanks. Made out of everything you can imagine.
It's a spoon.
Yep. Half a scissors, that's a metal ruler.
Here's a bed with the shanks cut out.
Oh, crazy. Yeah, they cut the shanks out of the bottom of the bed.
Out of the side of the bed.
Yep.
Okay.
It's a made choking device.
So my question is did they have 8-track tape players?
I guess
in
so.
the-
Well, not back then, but I mean in the 80s. And
No, I mean
they allowed them, yeah.
Did they have an 8-track tape player? Oh, I guess they had stereos
Yeah.
that had them. I was just trying to remember because I remember having one in the car.
Yeah, they had.
But yes, we did have a stereo in the house that played 8-track tapes also.
Yeah. With the Bible hollowed out, they got that from Shawshank Redemption. They must have watched that movie.
They must have
too.
watched that movie. Look, dominoes. I didn't know you could take dominoes apart.
Oh, I guess you can. Here we go.
Here is some art by James Earl Ray,
Yeah,
along with his most famous piece of art, which would be his ladder.
that's crazy. I mean, how the hell did he get the pipe to?
Well, he probably stole it off of whatever he could get it off of.
So this area this top area, this is the top of it, and he threw that up over the wall, and then
And made 2 steps.
there's 2 steps, one there,
And then a way to stabilize
and
it.
stabilize it at the bottom.
And a step.
Crazy. How do you get that together to get it out into the yard? There's so much information here. It's really, if you're ever in Eastern Tennessee around Knoxville, it's worth coming to see.
This way to the hole.
I'm sorry, sir. Are you looking for the hole? Ain't no sunshine in the hole. Loss of vision. So it says that it was so dark inside that prisoners would lose their vision within days. Upon release, a fellow inmate would be assigned as a guide until their sight returned, usually within a week.
So I wonder how much time the average person spent in the hole.
Well, no.
Like, what was your average
Oh,
sentence?
it's all wet down in here. There's a vent up top and a vent in the door.
I can turn the light off.
And then this is just a concrete room. I'm guessing about 4.5 feet wide and about 9 feet long. That's
Oh, this is horrible. This is hell on earth. When Brushy opened in 1896, the hole housed disobedient and dangerous inmates for days, weeks, even months at a time, if the warden deemed it right. The hole wasn't just about solitary confinement to a 6 by 3 by 8 foot space. It was far worse. Inhabitants were once treated to suspension torture, tied by their thumbs to pulley cords hanging from the ceiling, toes barely touching, for up to 30 minutes. This went on until 1905, when the practice was deemed inhumane by a state Senate commission panel. While the size of the hole increased to a 4 by 8 by 10 foot when the new prison opened in 1933. It was still a dreadful, dark dungeon containing just a mattress and 2 buckets, one for fresh water and the other for a toilet.
It's horrible. I mean, again, you don't go to the hole for doing good things, but I bet there's a lot of times that it was probably used for retaliation. So over here is the gymnasium, and that's funny on like the outside of the buildings, or some of the buildings, it's got the year that they were built. This gymnasium was built in 1941.
So there was many basketball
Imagine,
games
yeah,
played here. And then they also used this as overflow.
Again? Mm-hmm. Yep, you can kind of see the pictures.
So this penitentiary is also used as a music venue.
Yeah.
So this building is used to sell merchandise and beverages.
Beverages. Yeah, they set up the concert venue or the stage out here in the yard, and that is where the performers are. They just had Jamie Johnson here. The end of July, Travis Tritt's going to be playing here.
Oh, that's awesome. He's a native Georgian.
Yep.
So this is the yard where they would come and get their daily exercise, and where they would feed Geronimo.
Cigarette butts.
This is a beautiful area. So you can look around the yard here, and if you look up between the mountains here, up towards the top there, that is where the mine was located, where they would go and mine the coal.
That's no fun.
No, it's a nasty job.
All right, so I think that's going to do it for us here at Brushy Mountain. I'm tired of the prison life. How about you?
Yeah.
Yeah, but really and truly a super interesting place to come. So if you're ever in this area, it's well worth your time to come check out, do the prison tour. Like I said, you can do the guided or the self-guided tour. Check out the Warden's Table, the restaurant.
Yeah, they have really good barbecue. And, they do offer senior discounts.
Yeah, and first responder discounts and stuff like that. They have the distillery, so you can do the taste testing or buy whatever they make there in the gift shop.
Be sure to check this off on your whiskey trail.
Yeah, so it's part of the whiskey trail. You can get the whiskey trail passport. That you get a stamp for that. So
or the app on your phone.
It's definitely worth coming to see. So you can spend several hours here. So prepare for that. And if it's going to be hot, you might want to bring some water with you. But other than that, it's a really good experience. It's worth the time and a little bit of money that it costs. But that's going to do it for us this time on Home on the Edge. Glad you stuck around with us. Like and subscribe and follow us on everything else, Instagram and Facebook. And we love all you guys. So until next time, take care of each other.
Love each other.
Make every moment count. We'll see you next time, guys.